Menopause doesn't mean no estrogen. Menopause means less estrogen. What do I mean? So here in Australia, the average age of a woman going through what's called menopause is considered to be 51 to 52 years old. Now, the thing to know is that that is a normal transition in life. Like, so through all of our reproductive years, our estrogen rises and falls like a monthly rhythm, and that's all cool. And during perimenopause time, which is just before menopause, menopause being one day, the day you celebrate 12 months of no bleeding. So in that time before, your estrogen may do a little bit of a dance and have some ups and downs and be all over the place. It may. It doesn't have to be. And then our period stops. 12 months later, we go, yep, menopause, that's it. And then everyone is then post-menopause, like myself at 64, my period left at 49. So everyone is pre-menopause or post-menopause because menopause itself is only one day. So when we go without a period, from that moment on, we're still producing estrogen, but at a much lower baseline. And this is how it's meant to work. It's not an illness. Menopause is a normal transition in life. The thing that determines if we have a good or an easy or crappy menopause is the state of our adrenal glands. Why? Because post-menopause, our ovaries largely retire from estrogen production. All good. That's what's meant to happen. But our body doesn't run on empty because our fat cells and other areas like our muscles and brain step in and convert androgens, which are produced in our adrenal glands, to create a gentler form of estrogen called estrone. We don't lose estrogen completely. And it frustrates me when women think that, and experts say that. We don't. Our body just changes how and where it makes it. That's it. And we only get a crappy peri or post-menopause if we arrive at this point adrenally tired. So doing all the band-aids, taking HRT or doing whatever you're doing are band-aids. They're not fixing what's the cause, which is the crappy adrenal glands. So yes, clinically, perimenopause before the 12-month celebration of no bleeding can be a bit messy. And like I said, it's determined by the state of our adrenal glands. In Chinese medicine, we say you're born with a certain amount of qi, a certain amount of energy, and it lives. It's that oof, that spark that makes us live. And it lives in our adrenal glands, and which are little caps on the top of our kidneys. And we're meant to spend a bit of adrenal energy every day and put it back in and spend it and put it back in. The problem is we spend way more than we put back in. The end result is that when we run out of chi, when we run out of life force, we die. The thing that's taxing us is stress. So our adrenals have got two big main functions. One is to produce the androgens, like I already mentioned, which is all about working with our hormones. And the second one is cortisol and adrenaline, so our stress hormones. So we're meant to do the stress, we're meant to replenish, we're meant to stress, we're meant to replenish. And our adrenal glands, we say as naturopaths, it's like the core of our being, tells our reproductive system what to do and tells our thyroid what to do. And so if we are adrenally tired, our thyroid can go astray. And so many women who get things like Hashimoto's, that can be all part of that. Starts with a tired body. And women coming into menopause time, naturally our ovaries are going to shrivel up, which is what these lines in our top lip mean. Okay? They mean that oh yes, I am barren. My ovaries have shriveled up. That's a reality. I can put all the Botox in that I want. However, my ovaries are still shriveled up. It is a normal sign of aging. I own it. I own it. So ovaries shrivel up. That estrogen is not being produced. However, like I said, our body produces estrone. So we only get the crappy hot flushes and sleep changes and mood shifts and all the other things that can happen, crawly skins and dry vaginas and all those kind of things only happen if we reach this point adrenally tired. And I get it, your body's not working for you. And I get that you want to have something to take the pain away, so to speak, all the discomfort of this time. However, if we're just doing band-aids, be it HRT or a natural hormone like product, it doesn't matter. If our adrenal glands are still tired, we've still got the core problem. As a naturopath, we just want to work on the cause behind it. And I find it interesting, kind of emotionally in life, if you zoom out to the big evolutionary lens, humans and killer whales, get this, we're unusual. Our females live decades after reproduction. And it's really interesting. And the benefit of it, and it's kind of like the function that we're there for, is for the grandmother effects, for the wise woman effects, for that knowledge transfer, that leadership. It's all part of it. even in killer whales. Killer whales show that in post-reproductive females, they still lead the group, the pod of killer whales, and it improves the survival of their kin. And think about what grandmothers do. Grandmothers have got such an important role, which is why I love to work with wise women. Our long post-menopausal lifespan, it's not a design flaw, it's a feature. We're here to help the survival of our kin and to pass on our knowledge. So we're really just like whales. I think that's pretty interesting. So, when does it all get messed up? The brutal truth is that the decline isn't a problem, it's how we arrive here. So I am 64. I like to think I've got another good solid 30 or 40 years with me living in a lower estrogen state. Like I said, it's not no estrogen, it's lower estrogen. And so if my age, the age of an Aussie female nowadays is life expectancy is said to be 85 years, 85.1 years, which is cool. Every year it gets a little bit further, although it's really interesting. If you look at, I'm born in 1961, the life expectancy for someone like me born in 1961 is 71.2 years. Wow, isn't that crazy? If I haven't been doing things to intervene to give myself a longer, healthier life. Really interesting stuff. So I like to think that everyone is doing little things like I'm going to talk about to have our body work better for us. So we have a longer life nowadays than what we used to, which means we have a longer time with low estrogen. And so managing that can be simple. It's not big stuff. And if I think of just three things that can either amplify the positives at this time of our life or amplify the negatives, this would be them. The very first one is stress and sleep. So our adrenal glands, like I said, it's where we produce our stress hormones, but also our androgens. And when we're stressed, you know what it's like. If you are stressed and you wound up and you have a crappy sleep and you wake up for a pee between 2 and 4 a.m. and then you didn't get a good night's sleep, you're not going to deal with stress as well the next day. We talk about the window of tolerance. The window of tolerance is literally how long we can tolerate whatever's going on before we lose our shit. And so if we had a great night's sleep, you naturally deal with things better through the day. Versus if you have a crappy night's sleep, you've got a short fuse. That's normal. So that window of tolerance, we want to be doing things to increase our window of tolerance so that stress has less of an effect on our body. That's huge. So when we're stressed, we're not sleeping well. As naturopaths, we say that when you wake up between 2 and 4 a.m., 2 and 4 a.m., that's when our adrenals are meant to be replenishing. It's when the cortisol's meant to be replenishing. However, if we've been stressing out, taxing our body, and not having cortisol work for us, and instead of against us, by doing all the little stresses that tax us nowadays, the kids going, mum, 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 the too much traffic, the too many emails, just life, then cortisol's not balancing up properly. Our adrenals are taxed. We get an inconsistent flow of hormones. We arrive at this point in life adrenally tired. We end up in this perpetual stress loop, which is why my Fuck the Stress book is all written about, all the ways to help get your adrenal glands out of survival mode. But we end up in this stress loop where less sleep means we have more stress through the day, which means we have less sleep, and we just have to break the loop at some place. So I know that naturopathically, every moment that we're in bed and asleep before 10 p.m. is like bonus points for our adrenal glands. Our adrenals need between 7 and 9 hours sleep a night. And 5 nights a week, I have a discipline in me that I'm in bed by 9:30 and I'm asleep by 10. 5 nights a week, 80% of the time. You don't have to do 100% of the time. But it's like if people go, yeah, that's all great, Jen, but I'm a night owl. Well, good on you. That shit is killing us. So it's a choice. 5 nights a week, get to bed early, do things in preparation, because just taking HRT and still doing crappy sleep, it's not going to fix the problem. We've got to get our adrenals out of survival mode. We need between 7 and 9 hours quality sleep. That's one. The next one is EDCs. EDCs are endocrine, which means hormonal disrupting chemicals. We are swimming in a pool, a life of chemicals nowadays. They've always been here. However, they're worse now. It's always been like I've been a naturopath for 30 odd years and an aromatherapist. So I've been using natural products all that time. I just choose not to use chemically kind of products. All of my skincare, my shampoos, conditioners, I make my own soaps, all those things. I can do it really simply. And we all actually can. You can buy natural, close to nature, no refined and processed nasty chemicals. I wear cotton clothes. All of my clothes are cotton. I choose to because I know the effect of wearing, if something is stretchy and elastic, it's got plastic in it. It has. And those nanoparticles go into our body. I see women nowadays, I live in Queensland where it's warm weather, and women out exercising wearing active wear versus a pair of cotton shorts and a t-shirt that I wear that's all cotton. It's all good. And I get the fashion thing. However, imagine your pores are open because you're exercising, you're sweating, pores are open, and you're wearing a layer of plastic on your skin. We are absorbing, and there's studies proving it now, the impact that we are absorbing these nanoparticles into our body. And that's without even getting to pesticides and all the crap that's on our food. So we're swimming in this sea of chemicals, and they become hormone disrupting chemicals. They just are. And so the closer we stick to nature, we can't eliminate things completely. However, we can totally eliminate as much as possible to reduce the effect these things are having on our body. Because we are basically just marinating in plastics and sprays and perfumes and lotions, and all these chemicals are messing with our hormones. Like I said, the studies are there. They can and do interfere with our endocrine system, our hormone system. And if you're already in perimenopause or postmenopause and things going to shit, start there. Look at the products, your skincare products, active wear, what you wash your clothes in. Keep it simple. Keep it close to nature the majority of the time, and it all helps to reduce that impact. And then the last one is our body composition. So we know that after menopause, our fat tissue, which I talked about, becomes one of our main estrogen markers. And it's interesting. We want to, the more lean muscle we've got, the more our metabolism work. That's all good. And the interesting thing is, though, that our body produces that gentler form of estrogen, like I talked about, estrone. However, and that comes from our body fat. However, it also increases our inflammation. So if you think, well, it's okay, I'm arriving at this point, I've already got higher body fat than I'd like, that means I'm going to get higher estrogen. Yes, and you'll also get higher inflammation. So we want to have as much lean muscle. And I promise, even when you've got your lean muscle, you're still going to have enough body fat to be able to produce estrone. So we want to make sure that we're doing some simple things. And again, I talk about all this stuff in my book, Fuck the Stress. But we want to make sure we're doing some kind of weight-bearing exercise every day. The thing is, our weight-bearing exercise can be us. So doing exercises that replenish our adrenal glands, so things like yoga and Tai Chi and Qigong, even walking, are using our natural body weight. And they're not spiking cortisol, where I see women at this age going, that's it, I want to lose this belly, and so I'm going to lift all these big heavy weights, I'm going to flog myself and go for big runs and things. Well, shit, yeah, all you're doing is increasing cortisol, which keeps us in that loop. We've got to break that loop. So yes, do I still lift heavy weight? 100%. Do I do things like reformer Pilates to be using my body weight in a way that doesn't spike cortisol? 100%. Do I walk instead of run? Yes. Do I surf? And surfing is like, taking off on a wave is like you're doing a push-up with your full body weight against gravity downhill at 30 k's an hour or more. And you've got to be able to pop up and keep balance and everything. Like, it is an insane exercise using your body weight. And paddling, you're paddling against the pressure of the water. Swimming, there's ways that we can do it without spiking our cortisol. So exercise, movement is really important, and making sure that we keep inflammation and stress down at the same time, because stress also causes inflammation. So look, you think, oh shit, it's really hard. Well, not really. If think about it, this is the simplicity of it. Get to bed 5 nights a week between 7 and 9 hours sleep. Every minute before 10 p.m. is bonus points to have your hormones happier. That's it. Stop wearing active wear all the time. Get back to natural fibers where you can. I promise cotton is way better. And I know cotton gets sprays as well. However, it's way different to the nanoparticles of plastics we're taking in synthetic fibers in the clothing that we're wearing. It's huge. Look at your beauty products. Look at your skincare. What are you doing? When your bottle of whatever you're using runs out, get to something closer to nature. Plant-based skincare. Plant-based. So it's like, vegetable oils and essential oils and vegetable waxes versus refined kerosene, which is what mineral oil is. Seriously. Petroleum oil. Imagine you're putting that on your skin, and that's what 90% of skincare products out there are made from. You wouldn't put refined kerosene on your skin, and yet you're using a product that contains mineral oil. That's what it is, refined kerosene. And then the other one is to move your body in some way every day. Use weight bearing, utilize the body, have it in a place that we can be lowering our stress hormones, the cortisol, and lowering inflammation at the same time while maintaining a healthier lean muscle percentage. So the bottom line is that menopause is natural. This is a natural transition in life. And doing band-aids to suppress symptoms because the body is just out of balance when it arrived at this time doesn't help. So the state of our menopause or this transition in our life is shaped by modern stress, sleep, chemicals, and body composition. And every one of them are modifiable. We've got the choice. And if you think, yeah, well, I'm just going to take HRT and that'll fix it, well, do that. Your adrenals are still out of balance with stress and that you are compounding things and getting a bigger problem. You've got every chance of not being here and being able to enjoy the next 30 or 40 years of your life. I don't care if you use HRT, however, still look after your adrenal glands at the same time. Like I said, my book, Fuck the Stress, is all about getting our adrenals out of survival mode so that we can have the best years of our life. For me, 64, seriously, life is just getting better and better and better every day. And I just do core little bare ass minimum basics to have my body to be able to deal with me. It's huge impact with minimal input. I promise it's worth it.